So today I'm here testing. What's happening? Thank you for watching my video. If you're watching this video now, it means you've wandered into the spiritual part of YouTube. So thank you very much for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel. If you like the content, like the video and comment on how you feel you are avoiding, if you are at all avoiding being duped in this era of information. Everybody seems to be doing everything, everybody seems to be knowing everything, and there's nothing wrong with that, but everything should be taken with a pinch of salt, and which is why I'm making this video. And the premise is not to point any fingers at anybody who does anything. The vision is to be able to help people to be more vigilant and to to be able to question a few things. So the reason why I post this is because I've been doing the rounds, and I've been being very observant, like spiritual TikTok, Instagram is just the worst. Instagram, Twitter's not so, Facebook. All I can say is that don't be quick to buy into anything that you don't see or you don't know. Even if it's somebody that you meet up with in person, you don't know what that person gets up to when you're not in front of them. So that's the premise of this video, and it's to say open your eyes. So the first reason why, how you can avoid to be duped, or the first way you can avoid how to be duped by these new age spiritualists who are always selling something, is know thyself. So knowing thyself means that you conjure a relationship with yourself enough that you will listen to yourself for a guidance. So a guidance, yes, sometimes we know that there's nothing coincidental, especially when you're a spiritualist. When you meet up with a certain post, a quote, whatever it may be, you try by all means to listen to it, but leave the messenger alone. Listen to the message, leave the messenger alone, because the messenger is just like you. They're just full of it. Even if somebody comes off as being the perfectest person, the best you could do is just to respect them. Don't look up to them, don't look down on them, just be on the same level of, we're humans. I'm there, I can learn from you in as much as you can learn from me. So if you like something, you see something that resonates with your energy at that particular moment, you could comment. You've interacted with that person for the reason why they like life chose to bring them across to you, your timeline, your For You page, whatever. So you know yourself. So when you know yourself, you won't, even if something is attracting you or you want to try something, first, because you have a relationship with yourself, first talk to yourself. You write about it, journal about it, take a bath. For me, it's ganja, but meditate, listen to what yourself says. Does she agree? He agree? Listen. So the second way you can avoid being duped is to be observant. So when you're observant, I'm here to teach you that when you're observant, you know that in most instances, when you're 20 years, in your 20s, you operate with a different energy and vigor. You're moving past it when you're in your 30s. There's a lot of impatience when you're in your 20s, and there's a lot of wanting to do everything when you're in your 20s. A lot of wanting to try everything when you're in your 20s. And so when you're in your 30s, you're like getting used to it. You're coming down. You're coming into yourself. And when you're 40, you're so much more balanced, especially if you've been moving with the stages of life appropriately. Hopefully you have your own place, you're married, you've children or not, but you've got your life more or less in order. And then in your 50s, you're like living your best life, because they say life begins at 50. So you're living your best life in your 50s. You don't have any children bothering you. They're off living their best lives as well, So those are the stages of life, firstly. So we're being observant. Remember. So all these people that you see on your TikTok, on your Instagram, how old are they? So you check by that. So if somebody's gonna claim to be spiritually inclined and spiritually in charge, or spiritually in control, or spiritually disciplined, and they're in their 20s, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flags. Do not fall for the okie doke. Do not fall for the okie doke. We are stupid. We are all stupid when we're in our 20s, and we need to, if we're observant enough, or if we're calm enough, then we'll be able to, live past it. But if you're too excited, you'll crash. You'll crash. So be careful of anybody who wants to tell you anything with like so much sureness when they're in their 20s. Try to work with 30-year-olds and up, maybe 35 years and up. Then you can start to listen to somebody, because if somebody's going to move in a certain direction, by the time, if they're passionate about it, so you know how somebody is going to be successful with something or on something, is if they're passionate about it and they are consistent about practicing it. So over a period of 20 years and up. So if they started in their 20s, like everybody's excited now in their 20s, by the time they're 38, let's say you started at 21 or 20, by the time you're 38, look at you, you've got 18 years down, so by the time you're 42, man, you can become a guru, man. Maybe you could be an apprentice of trying to have a few students, but not when you're in your 20s. I don't buy it. So be observant of those things. That's what I mean. How not to be duped. Number 2. So number 3, number 3 is study in silence. So in silence, I mean in the sense that whatever it is that you currently learning, you're just discovering. So for instance, for me, a year and a few months ago, I discovered the dark side of life. I discovered that there's also beauty in the dark side. So I ventured into just studying and learning about Lucifer, about the dark, just in general, the dark side, the things that people don't want to talk about. But I went in for whatever reason, learned a whole lot, a whole. If I say my perspective was changed, I mean my perspective was changed. So I operate in both those ways. But I will not. It's just because we're on the internet. I don't care who watches it, but I will not. In the midst of light workers, people who are like all about righteousness, good over evil, and all these things, and be like, hey, you know what? I just discovered 1, 2, and 3, and I think, just causing some drama, unnecessary friction and tension for no reason. My maturity and my EQ doesn't allow me to do that. So I learn in my own silence. And if the opportunity arises for me to just lend in 2 minutes most of a contribution towards a conversation about something on the dark side or the shadow side of self, of life, then I'll add. But it's not. So I learned. So that's just an example. You could apply it to a lot of other things about yourself, especially if you're still learning. So if you just discovered veganism, for example, and you were just a vegetarian a few weeks ago, just keep quiet. Maybe wait for yourself to have like maybe a year, and then even if you have a year, just start, the things that you're feeling, as opposed to going and Googling, how do you feel? Do you feel more energetic in the morning if you didn't sleep on a full belly? Do you like all these things? So it's different for everybody, but it works for you, and it's so beautiful if you do it for you. It gets to the point, back to the point of why we're even doing the spiritual thing, is to know yourself. So if you learn in silence and you allow yourself to be grounded and self-assured enough, you won't be fooled. So number 4 is be careful of trends. This one I'm just gonna be careful of trends. Be careful of anybody, even on YouTube, even on even me, even me. But I know that I have a track record, just to say, and it might not be now, but in future, it will show. That's the charity you move with. That's the calmness, the patience, the confidence you move with, because you know that this thing is not. You're not selling anything. You're not in a rush. Life could just come maybe and interrupt you by taking you away from it. But as long as you're here, there's no need to rush. As long as you know what you want, have a vision board next to you if you're gonna forget. If you're gonna forget, so if you know what you want, you have so much clarity that you don't really. We can go and listen just for the sake of sense of, increasing the things that you listen to that are conscious, as opposed to all the filth and the trash that Netflix and stuff have. That's why I love YouTube. So in that sense, yes. But even if somebody says do this and this and this, to make your own research. Make your own research. Don't just hop on any wagon. And then the last reason is the last way that you can avoid being duped is to take it one step at a time. Take your life one step at a time. Because what happens when you're following these people on Instagram, for instance, or whatever social media or internet or website, whatever, if you're following these people, it's like having friends in school. If you have friends and you happen to be the one who doesn't have something, for instance, you feel some way, even if that thing, not having it doesn't even affect you in a way. But because we're human, we feel some way because we don't have 1, 2, and 3. So now you will see somebody who you don't know when they started their journey, what their financial circumstances are. Nothing. Sorry about that. I want to open the window, so please. So like you feel so nice. I could have done it a longer time ago, but I lost my train of thought. So one step at a time, like, oh yeah, so accumulation, in my opinion, it is an accumulation over time. So if you view these things and you see yourself not having, it's very rare that people, so now you want to fall into their, because if they're selling the crystals, they'll always surround themselves with crystals and make an emphasis of how important crystals are, and you're not being able to practice with crystals. But that's not how your life works. Like, your life is understanding about your situation. Your life won't put you under pressure. Your life knows that at this present moment, this is what you're going through, and you make use of whatever it is that is in front of you. Everything, I promise you, is spiritual. It's not just crystals. It's not just incense. It's not just, for instance, when I don't have impepo, which is what I burn, and other incense sticks, this is my incense. It still smudges. It still does smoke. But I had to come to that conclusion. Other people use tobacco, so that's still incense. So everything is spiritual. So please take it one step at a time and know that if you love crystals, for instance, take your time to collect them. Buy 2 a month. Over 5 years, you will have a collection. Whatever it is that you love, do it. Bite it one bite at a time. Chew and swallow, and allow it to be digested. It works with everything, even in life. It will allow you to make your journey that much pleasant, to make your journey that much smooth, and to make your journey that much authentically yours. So that maybe you can teach in future, because you have so much to know that you would like to tell other people, not for whatever reason why we're doing it now. So let me know. I'm here about wanting to find a community of women. I'll do another video on sacred woman, sacred womb circle reawakening, because I would like to have a community, specifically an online community of women across the world, for us to bond, especially if you're spiritually inclined. I don't care if you're a Muslim or whatnot, if you're aware of the journey and the role that we're here to play, especially as females, I would really like to make a community, a circle for us to grow together, especially if you're in your 30s and up. I would like to grow and learn from each other. That's why I want people who are older than me, because I don't want to know everything. I want to grow with other women, and this is what my attempt at doing is. This is what I'm doing by this is what I'm attempting to do by doing this. English is not my first language. It's not my first language. So let's just say this is the end of my video, and I hope universe hears, and I hope somebody is listening and will take heed of the call. It doesn't matter how, as long as I'm still alive, please reach out. We are evolving.